A couple's life together shattered by a drunk driver.
The accident happened about a year and a half ago. Jared Estes was badly burned. His wife, Paige, killed. The drunk driver is now in prison, and Jared slowly putting his life back together. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Morrow talked with Jared for a series of stories you'll see this week here on Eyewitness News at 10. Tonight, Jared and Paige's life together.
They're a picture-perfect example of small-town love.
We were high school sweethearts.
Jared Estes and Paige Johnson, two teens growing up in Buckland, Kansas, about 30 miles southeast of Dodge City. Both go to Buckland High, but they don't really know each other, and then it happens.
The way that we got together was very funny, actually.
It's Jared's senior year, and as handsome as he is, it's no surprise he's up for homecoming king. Paige is a junior, a pretty cheerleader, who's supposed to announce Jared as the winner.
It turned out Paige had announced the wrong name. I had actually won, and she was looking at the card that had my name on it, and Paige was devastated. She ran back to the girls' locker room and was, in tears.
It probably seems like these two will never talk again, but that's far from the truth. After this homecoming mistake, Jared takes a chance. He takes Paige for a drive through the country and asks her to the homecoming dance.
Ever since, it's never even been a question as to whether or not we were going to be together.
And they are together. These keep them close, even when Jared goes away to college, while Paige is still back in Buckland.
I was at KU, and we just wrote back and forth letters and everything all the time.
Well, these letters and everything else lead the pair to fall in love, and Jared to hide an engagement ring inside Paige's favorite candy.
And she opened it up, and she took out the ring, and she looked at it, and she's like, "Jared, look!" Like she won a prize from the Fun Dip Company. And I was like, "Wow, Paige, that is awesome. So will you marry me then?" And she's like, No. Oh, what? And then she was just like, then she realized, and it was pretty neat.
A year later, they're married, the wedding any couple could dream of.
Paige was just so beautiful. She always was, but, on our wedding day, it was just, it was something, it was so surreal because everything just went like clockwork and everything went by so fast, and it was so much fun.
Their honeymoon's fun too. A trip to Hawaii where the two ride ATVs, play on the water, and make memories that'll last a lifetime.
That was the best time of my life for sure. Just that week was just so great. It was just, there was no way we could get tired of each other after spending, all that time together.
But little do they know, this picture-perfect couple will have its future cut short.
It was like waking up in hell is what it was like, honestly. I don't know what hell's like, but that's what I would imagine. Just fire, and it just felt darker than dark.
Jared and Paige, sweet, innocent, and in love, are about to see their fairy tale future take a horrific turn. The night's literally a nightmare. Jared and Paige Estes, married just 6 months, leave a hockey game with some friends. They're driving down Kellogg near West Street when a Porsche going more than 100 miles an hour slams into them.
I don't remember getting hit, or I don't know how long I was in the car. I went black. Everything kind of went black when we were driving down the street, and then I just heard a really, really loud bang, like an explosion, and then I could have been in there 30 seconds or 30 minutes. I didn't know.
The car's now on fire, and so is Jared. Lucky for him, someone driving by stops and pulls him out of the car.
I looked down at my hands, and they just looked really weird, and they felt really hot. Both of them did. And I turned them over, and there was just one piece of my shirt hanging between my wrist. That was all that was left, and it was just burning from the ends, and then it just burned away right there.
Jared knows he's in trouble, but he's still more concerned about his wife and friends. He doesn't know if they're still in that burning car.
It was like waking up in hell is what it was like. Honestly, I don't know what hell's like, but that's what I would imagine. Just fire, and it just felt darker than dark.
Through the darkness, Jared sees bodies lying on the road. Even though he's burned on about half his body now, he drags himself down Kellogg to see who's there.
And I just knew that one of those, or both of those, had to be my wife and my friend, because there's no way they were in that car, because the car was just engulfed and there was just nothing left of it.
Jared never gets to see if the bodies are the people he loves. The paramedics get to him first and force him on a stretcher.
And I was fighting him a little bit. I was fighting him quite a bit, because I wanted to know where Paige and Danae were. I was screaming for Paige and Danae, and they kept saying, "We don't know, we don't know." And I just kept, I was persistent, and I would not let them work on me. And then finally one of them said, "Yes, everybody got out."
But everybody does not get out. Jared's beautiful and young wife, Paige, is trapped in that burning car. Jared doesn't know, because by now he's in a coma that lasts 2 long weeks before he finds out the love of his life is gone.
I needed to get to her grave, because I knew that was as close as I could get to her, you know, without actually being with her. So, I'm sorry. It's okay. Just yammering. But
before Jared can get to Paige's grave, to begin the process of trying to heal his broken heart, he has a long, tough road ahead. A fiery car crash on Kellogg. It burns half of Jared Estes' body and puts him into a coma. But when he comes to, he has one big question. What happened to Paige, the love of his life, the girl he's been married to just 6 months, who had been sitting next to him when the accident happened? Well, Jared's about to find out. In a coma here at Via Christi St. Francis for the past 2 weeks, he finally wakes up.
people started coming through my room, and after each person left, I would ask, "Where's Paige?" And the next person would come in and talk to them, and then I'd say, "Where's Paige?" And they'd kind of blow it off just a little bit, and then finally the last person came through, and my dad closed the door, and he told me that she didn't make it and that she didn't get out of the car. I was on an amazing amount of drugs at the time, too. And even with all that, it was amazingly sobering to hear that, you know, and all the drugs in the world can't make that pain any better.
The only thing Jared can think of doing is saying, "You know the way." He didn't even get to go to her funeral because it happened while he was still in a coma.
I needed to get to her grave because I knew that was as close as I could get to her, you know, without actually being with her. So, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just yammering. But
before going anywhere, Jared has a lot of work to do. His face severely scarred, his ear gone, half his body burned beyond belief.
I was in pretty bad shape, you know. I knew just from the way people looked at me, because I, you know, couldn't see myself. My fingers just looked like sausages. They were just massive. This was just so flared up on this side of my face, and everything was so red, and it was still bleeding for a long time.
Soon, the bleeding stops, and with the help of these, what Jared calls torture devices, some very dedicated physical therapists, and a lot of hard work, Jared finally makes a trip he's been thinking about since coming out of his coma. He's back in Buckland, beside Paige's grave.
Honestly, it was miserable at first because I could not grieve the way I wanted to. I wanted to grab piles of this dirt. I just wanted to take these dirt clods in my hands, and I wanted to slam them on the ground, and I wanted to yell at the sky, and I wanted to give I just wanted to throw a fit worthy of Paige, you know, that the one that I had dreamed about in the hospital.
Jared doesn't throw that fit. He's still badly injured. All he can do is sit there and reflect on their memories together. Did you ever think you'd have to be out here at this point in your life?
Nope. Honestly, ever since we've been together, ever since I've known her, ever since I've loved her, I always thought this would be me, and she'd be standing here, and we'd argue about it, you know, about who was gonna go first, because neither one of us wanted to live without the other one.
Well, now Jared has to live without the other, and it's all because of this man, Louis Keebert, recently sentenced to 23 years in prison for killing Paige, the third time he's been convicted for driving under the influence.
One of the things that drives me
to get through this and to get better and to not give up is that I will not be your victim, Lewis. I will not be your victim. It's been pretty rocky. As far as my injuries go, I've pretty much been hiding under this boonie cap for about 1.5 years because half my face was pretty much burned off and my ear's gone.
It was crazy. I honestly, I did not know what I was going to say beforehand because I was going to let my friends and family speak first, and I wanted to see what they were going to say because I didn't want to repeat what they were going to say. And if I put it on paper, things that have happened in my life, it just looks so cold. It looks so cold, you know. It's kind of like, you know, Danae out window, Deline burned, Paige dead, me hospital. You know, it's like if I line out my story, it just looks so cold.
None of this is easy for Jared, going to court, rehab, or the cemetery, but it's what he has to do to get on with life and keep his wife's memory alive.
This right here is her little buddy. He comes over all the time. People bring Paige peeps, and he comes over and eats them.
Paige was just so beautiful. She was so amazing. So to have that ripped away and to have her ripped out, you know, the world is just crazy.
A drunk driver smashes into the car in front of him. Jared Estes is badly burned. His wife, Paige, is killed. The man responsible for the crash will spend 23 years behind bars.
But as Eyewitness News reporter Matt Morrow shows you, Jared will spend the rest of his life working to keep Paige's memory alive.
She is a picture of happiness.
Her nickname was Smiles because she had the biggest smile ever.
That smile is one of the things that attracted Jared Estes to Paige Johnson when they were in high school in Buckland.
She had so many nicknames. Blue Eyes was another one. She had really bright blue eyes.
Now, the only way Jared can look into his wife's beautiful blue eyes is through pictures. Paige is gone, killed by a drunk driver in a fiery accident on Kellogg almost 1.5 years ago.
The world is just crazy.
And for Jared, it's now a world without the love of his life.
Her not being here it makes no sense just because, you know, my whole life was built around us being together.
Jared is learning to live alone in the same house he and Paige bought before the accident. Paige is in the kitchen where she spent more time decorating than cooking.
As far as cooking at night or whatever, she would pretty much, as long as it had the word helper at the end of it, we could cook it.
She was also on top of decorating the house and organizing their bedroom, which hasn't changed much since the accident.
Everything's just exactly how she left it. She was so organized. You can see all the sleeves are probably lined up according to length, you know, as far as a little taller to a little shorter.
A little of that organization's rubbed off on Jared. He has all the letters they sent to each other in college stacked on the dresser.
The night before the sentencing, I pretty much spent all night reading through those, just trying to find Paige's voice to take with me, and I think I found it pretty good. There's a lot of pretty sweet nuggets in there. She spilled her heart all the time.
Little by little, Jared's spilling his heart too.
And then I have her chest of stuff that I've kind of started.
Inside the chest are some of Paige's things he treasures most.
These are her shoes from the wedding. Yeah, she wore these little guys. I even have in here, which is crazy. We went the night of the accident. This was one of the things in my Via Christi bag, but we went to Thunder game, and it's dated March 5th.
Jared has something else saved from the night of the accident and from one of the most important nights of his life.
And this one here is her wedding ring that they actually took in. It was burned pretty bad. You know, everything in this house, everything in this town, everything at home, everything in Buckland, you know, everything has a memory associated with it. And, you know, as time goes on, the memories start to be more comforting. But, you know, they hurt really bad at first.
What also comforts Jared is what he's doing now, talking about Paige and the memories they made together. She's the focus of a street festival in Buckland every year. It helps raise money for her memorial fund and for the burn center that's been so much help to Jared.
So what does it mean that all these people are out here for Paige?
It means the world to us. These people are the people that we've loved our whole lives. These people are our heroes. and they've come out for us so much.
They were people that you just instantly were drawn to. You walk in a room and Paige, she had this smile that was just electric. You just wanted to be friends with her, and Jared is one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Despite everything that's happened, Jared still has a pretty good sense of humor and a strong sense of pride.
I hate the feeling of wallowing in my own self-pity, and it's just such a waste of time. And I know that that's the last thing I would want her to do if she was in my place right now, and I know that's the last thing she would be doing.
Jared certainly is doing what Paige would want.
Straight up, throw these 3-pound balls.
He's on the road to recovery, a dynamic young man with memories of a wonderful past and a resilient attitude to carry him through the toughest times and into a future without the woman he loves.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. There must be an angel with a smile on her face. But it's time to face the truth. I will never be with you.
Well, that is an incredible story, and Jared is just one incredible young man. On a personal note, I really want to say thanks to Jared for spending some time with me during the past few months. I know talking about this isn't easy. We've gotten a chance to become buddies, and one thing I've learned is Jared is one of those people who just draws you to him. And despite everything that's happened to him, he has an amazing attitude about life, and it shows. And one of the reasons we did this story is to show you how one bad decision, drinking and driving, can shatter so many lives. And if just one person thinks twice about getting behind the wheel after a few drinks, then it's worth it.